Let's go. Let's go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I have decided that I would go live for a little bit, talk some comics, hang out with some of my peers, some of my friends, probably for about an hour. I was supposed to be at a show tonight at 6:30 that didn't pan out, and I got a Kickstarter running, and I figured I would stop by, say hi, maybe talk about some local gossip, show the Kickstarter a little bit, and just hang out with my friends, see what you guys are doing, see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start that in just a second. Let me show you a little video that we created for the Creator Hangouts that I think is pretty cool. We fancy as hell now. We got graphics and shit. But yeah, good evening. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. I'm sitting here, got an extra Scout Guinness. Going to talk some comics, going to hang out, going to see what everyone's doing this evening. If you're a comic creator and you want to come hang out with me, just send me a private message on Facebook or Twitter. I will get you the link. You can come chill out with me. We can talk a little bit, talk about life, talk about comics. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Granite State Punk. Granite State Punk is at its last, I think it's 5 or 4 days. 4 days. The last 4 days, we have 314 backers. If you haven't signed on, now is the time. Now is the time to do so. It is the best thing I've ever done. We got Tim in the house. We got Dan in the house. Too busy drawing pages. That's what I like to hear. I should be writing tonight, but I finished the script earlier this week, so I'm going to take a break. But I should probably do that too at some point. Here we go. Like I said, if you are a creator and you would like to jump on and hang out with me, you're more than welcome to. I don't know how long I'll be on. Who knows? Just message me privately and I will send you the link. You can come hang out for a little bit and just chat, see what you're doing on a Friday night, see what's going on. Again, the Kickstarter is doing great. We're at 314 backers, 4 days to go, $8,653. I am desperately trying to hit that 10,000 mark, guys. I am desperately trying to do it. So with your help, we can make that happen. We can make this amazing book come to fruition with all sorts of cool swag and stuff. So it's been a good night. Oh, hold on. We got people already messaging me. All right. Tim wants to chat. All right. I like Tim. Let me get you that. Let me get you those StreamYard links. We are 300 plus backers strong. Again, we're having a good time hanging out. If you are a creator, you're more than welcome to join me. I'll probably be on for an hour or so. We'll go over Granite State Punk. We'll go over whatever you guys are doing. We're going to have a good time. A silly goose time, as my friend says. Let me give you some links out. People who are messaging me. I just wanted to hang out. I had a show that canceled. Wanted to figured I would jump on, do my thing. This is not my normal show, so we're just kind of a little bit more frilly-nilly, if you will. If you are in the lobby and you have a question, just leave us a message. All right, come around. So I got some people I sent some links to. But yeah, how is everybody doing? How is the internets, the Facebook worlds, the Twitters, the Instagrams? How are you all? How is everyone doing? Hopefully everything is well. Let's see what we got. Daniel says, where's my link? Brendan says, hope everything's going well. And also it says, it's Saturday here too, man. Where are you? It is Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday. Yeah, Danielle, I'll send you a link. That's fine. All right, getting some links out. again, we're just going to do a little hangout. We're going to talk about the Kickstarter. Share this out. What's going on here? Something ringing? All right. Got notifications. People are knowing what's going on. People are talking about it. And we've got Tim in the house. Tim, too cool for school. Peace. What is? I don't appreciate you throwing gang signs up.
How you doing? How's my audio?
Your audio's fine. Your audio's fine.
I'm pro peace. I'm pro peace.
You're pro peace.
Yeah.
I'd love to find somebody who's pro war and just get them together and be like, Mr.
Well,
Water Wars is pro peace.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always like when I get a chance to mention it. That is the subtext of the books is the war characters are all peaceniks, all basically hippies, you know.
Dan, you gonna give me a peace sign too? No, he's gonna win. Damn it! No, anarchy. We're doing punk, right? Like we're doing punk. Anarchy, live free or die. You know.
What's up, guys?
What do we got? Brad's got a question for us already. Any series that you especially enjoy right now, indie or otherwise? Ooh, that's a great question. Brad, I need a couple of clarifications on that. Do you want an answer for? Do you want it to be Kickstarter only, or do you want it to be in the stores? You want both? What do you want? Give us a little bit, and we'll get that. So, guys, introduce yourself. Say who you are. Say what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing on a Saturday night and why you're lame and hanging out with me.
We go clockwise. I'll go first. I'm Tim Fling. I know a couple of you guys. Thanks for inviting me. My new book I'm promoting is the third issue of Water Wars 2288. It's going to go into Kickstarter in probably March here. And I'm working with some great artists again. And Travis, you know a couple of these guys I know. And we're real excited about that book. And what I was trying to do, and you and I talked about this the last time I was on the show, was to try and stack your year, right? And then mine, in my case, it'll take the form of my last Kickstarter was Lost at Sea. Thanks for backing that one, by the way. It looks gorgeous. And that's it's coming out. It's at the printer right now, actually. So that comes out of fulfillment. The next book goes in. That's number 3. That's into Kickstarter in my case. And then number 4 is in production. So you have it. It turns a little bit like a wheel, you see. And that's how like I say, that's just your mileage may vary, right? But that's right. How I do it. And that's how I've learned to. I use the Kickstarter to sort of propel each one along, and just about each time one comes out of the oven, one's going in.
Right. No, I think that's the way most people do it. If you can afford to, right? As soon as you don't.
Right. In fairness, and I think maybe I can speak for all of us. Like I was pretty behind when I first got started, right? Because you got to pay your artists and you got to, build their reputation and everything like that. So, I don't even know how behind I am in real money, but at this point, at least in the case of the two, I got the Water Wars series and the Chronicles series, which both turn regular enough to where, and I don't have $10,000 Kickstarters. I'm a smaller guy, right? I've had a $3,000 and a $4,000 around that range a couple of times, but basically each time enough to sort of keep going. And it's the same now as it has been, but now we're adding music. We've delved into the music a little bit.
Nice.
So that's my spiel.
Tell me about your book coming out. I see a big monster appearing on my streams all the time as I'm going through. I was just like trying to have a good time, and bam, giant monster.
Okay, we're gonna get this pre-launch stuff up. It's Night Wrath. That's the next book. It's my first kind of like dark anti-hero kind of book. And yeah, it's a big monster type hero. I'm working with Gabe Esquivel Santos on that, on pencils, De Rivera on inks, and Daniel ERM on colors, and Francisco Zamora is doing our lettering. And it launches on March 15th, which is my birthday. So getting ready for that. That's it up. And we just passed, I think we're just at 110 pre-launch followers at the moment.
Nice.
So that's hopefully I'll have American Dreams Volume 1 sometimes this summer or this fall. I'm just waiting on like one little piece, and then I can preemptively start getting the book put together. So I can have that ready to go in the summer.
We got Johnny's going to join us as well. Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Welcome.
Enrique's next. What you got, Enrique? Oh, good talk. Good talk
He's
with
muted.
that muted mic.
He's still muted.
Still muted.
You have to press the unmute on the screen.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay, I guess you didn't want to hear all my stuff. No, it's I'm like in that moment of the year that I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing. A lot of the stuff I originally had planned, it's just life has taken up in a different way, so I'm not doing as many shows I was going to be doing. And so now I'm like sitting back and really just honing in a lot of the stories I've been trying to write. I got a few projects that are still coming out. I started doing again my Inking with Kika show. It relaunched 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Keith Williams was on, and we had a great blast. And in the coming week, this week, I have Ian Miller. He is the writer creator of Codename Hunter. He's going to have a big announcement for the show, and then I'm going to have people like Charles Simpson's going to be on.
Okay.
Michael Ratcliffe. I've been trying to get a whole bunch of different people on, and one of my favorite people, creator of Dweors, is going to be back on again. So instead of doing it weekly like I used to do it, I'm doing it every other week, and it's like this is my way of being able to connect with my friends who I normally would see at the shows. But after doing like 36 shows in 2019, last year I did like 14. I'm like, this year I'm like, we're going to take a little bit more break and concentrate on some of the work. I'm like, right now I'm working on a piece I'm doing for Amerikaiju. The basic of a piece that John did, and he is launching his as well.
Amerikaiju is live right now, isn't it?
Yes, it is live right now. And I just got in my copies of the Not So Fair Tale stories. Finally came in after being lost at sea. A little plug there from a buddy over there.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
And this finally came in from China. The slow boat from China. Yeah, this is it. And but it's absolutely beautiful. And I have 3 stories in this one. And my daughter was also in this one, and she's doing well in college. So it's this will be on the road once I get back on there. So, and if people want, we're sending them out now to all the Kickstarter backers. So by next week, I can put them up for anybody's interested for copies. Just hit me up, and I'll get you one to you.
Nice. Good to hear. And Johnny, what are you doing on a Saturday night? Because apparently everyone keeps telling me it's Saturday night, not Friday. So whatever, I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, I saw it like you kept saying like Friday, and I'm like, is it Friday or is it Saturday? I don't, because I was at work. That's all I pretty much know. But I mean, I'm just sitting here just like watching anime and just basically just scrolling through Twitter, talking to my mentor about just a bunch of crazy stuff. And then I saw Dan, and I was like, let me mess with Dan real quick.
That's a good reason to come on and mess with Dan. Like I get it. I like it. My message is Freeform Friday, so everyone must be very confused on why I'm going live on Saturday. But whatever, it's fine. I don't know what day it is. I have been so busy with the Kickstarter and just doing stuff. I really don't know the days anymore. And then today, I think it's because I worked on I had to finish a script last week, so I did So I had to work on my web design stuff all day today. So I think that's why I'm confused. But let's answer Brad's first question. What are you reading right now? What do you recommend to people? So, Tim, you're going to start out first. Let's start with you.
Sure. Are we talking about indies now?
Yeah, he's looking for indies or otherwise. So just
okay. I have a great one. I just got it. It's Peter Welmerink's Big Jack, number 2. He's on. Excuse me. And I guess number 3 is he's just starting now. It's a great series, tension-filled, great characters. I know Peter. I like his writing. He has sort of a military type series that he writes, and this is his post-apocalyptic series. And he also he and I share an artist, which is Erwin Arosa, and that's my other connection to it. So that's Big Jack is my pick by Peter Welmerink.
All right, that's a good one. Enrique, what are you reading?
That's one that I really read. I got, of course, going back to the whole year, I got well, I would hog everybody's time if I try to support all the.
Do you in a store? Do you buy a lot still?
I do. I'm a comic collector, so I still read a couple of books. I tend to gravitate toward image books and to the indie titles. My new thing that I've been doing, Travis, is I try to put some emphasis on Kickstarter, because you get in the community and there's everybody's books that you want to support. And
Yeah,
hey, by the way, I know yours is going right now too, and that's a good example. I always want to support Travis. I got to still get to that one, and I got you on my list. But you have to spread it out.
4 days.
Yeah, I know. You got to spread it out kind of because, as you know, it's a pretty deep hole you can fall in there. Right, pretty soon you're spending your money on.
My wife does not know what 607 backs means. She doesn't quite understand it. All right, what are you reading, Greg?
Honestly, I'm going to tell, because I'm trying to concentrate on my writing, I have tried to avoid reading too much because because I'm still involving some of my stories. I don't want to have that bad situation come up that I will do right, and then all of a sudden something will fall in the back of my mind, be taking it from somebody else. So I'm avoiding all reading and stuff, but unless it's something totally outside of what I'm writing about. So right now, let me see. The last things I've read was The Blazing Blade of Frankenstein, which was really, really good.
That was Clay Adams, right?
Yeah, Clay Adams. Yeah, and the other one is here, and I don't want to mispronounce her name. Yeah, The Fangs and Fowl. I'm looking for it. I've read some of the stuff already. That's from LK. Okay. So really a lot of stuff, and so that's mostly what I do. And of course, I've been reading stuff with my buddies, like America I Do and the Dweors, which is just a fantastic story. So any of those you can't go wrong with.
Nice. Dan, I know Daniel, you and me are Comic Day every Tuesday and Wednesday.
I should have stopped my pull list because I'm so behind.
You have to cancel your pull list?
I'm months behind because of my work day job caught up. I have 20 other things I'm doing, so I'm I have boxes in my bedroom, I have boxes in my old bedroom, I have boxes downstairs. I'm I can't do this anymore.
Jesus.
I can't do this anymore. It's because I'll never get caught up, so now I'm going to trades. but I have been. I'm behind my Kickstarter reading too, but I've recently been reading as my bedtime reading the old school Richard Dragon.
Oh,
They
okay.
have released the old Denny O'Neil series a little while ago, so I use it as my bedtime reading. It's really interesting because they have all these great artists, including a Jack Kirby issue.
Sure.
Which he drew. And it's really interesting because it's interesting. Some really great characters. Bronze Tiger comes out of that. Shiva comes out of that. And Richard Dragon is underused most of the time, and DC is, of course, the main character. But at the same time, it's also interesting to see how dated everything is.
Right.
Because, oh my god, it's like, I mean, this is like, ooh. Great story, but definitely of its time. It might have been a lighting of its time because Denny O'Neil was the great progressive, writer at DC in the 70s. But like how he writes the Shiva, for example, as it's kind of like lives for action and blood and everything, it's like not so much.
Yeah.
But
the only Richard Dragon I've ever read is he crossed over to Nightwing during the Chuck Dixon run, and then Chuck Dixon spun it off into his own
Yeah, I think
that's the only Richard Dragon I've ever read. It's a Chuck Dixon run in the 90s.
Yeah, because I'd like to read that series because it's Scott McDaniel, and I'm a really big fan of Scott McDaniel's art. But I don't think they've ever re-released it.
Trade I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's ever made a trade or anything.
I don't think it's on Comixology or even the DC's own app.
Yeah, I read that run, the Richard Dragon run, and I read it and I was like, all right. If I run across it, I'll grab it for you if you're really interested. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I don't care about it. But yeah, Johnny, what are you reading?
Basically just I stopped reading comics for like months because of just a whole bunch of stuff that's going on right now. But I just got back into rereading Powers of X, House of X, and then X of Swords. Like I'm reading literally everything from like beginning to end. I just have to.
That's a lot of reading. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, because of the fact that, work at Duncan is so slow and there's nothing to do, I got all the time in the world.
By the way, for those who follow me on the regular, Johnny was shocked. We were talking privately, and I said Duncan is one of my favorite things. And he's like, "Are you being for real? Can anyone verify how often I go to Duncan?
Like every morning?
I post all the time that I'm at Duncan. If
Lord,
my video.
I wish I could get away with reading at my current job.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I can only get away with it because I'm the only one that's there in the afternoon. My manager and everybody else is gone, so it's like it's just me.
Hey, there's
Every morning, see, people are posting, yes, Duncan, it's me. Yeah,
There you go.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Ah, boy.
All right, so for me, I'm going to give you a little bit of everything because I read a lot. So the best book at Marvel right now, in my opinion, is that She-Hulk was fantastic. If you didn't get She-Hulk #1, you got to get it. It's so good. Really, really good book. It makes me excited. But Moon Knight is also super good. So She-Hulk or Moon Knight. For DC, it's really rough, especially with Nice House on the Lake closing its doors for a little bit. I would have to say I am really liking Robin. Robin is so good. So
I've heard good things about Robin. I've heard great things about Nightwing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Robin's really good. Nightwing's good too, but I think Robin is far more interesting with the plot. Nightwing's good because it hasn't been good in a long time. Robin is good because it's just good. You know? Image, I love Stillwater. That's my favorite Image book. Or Stillwater and Turner, those are really, really good.
Yeah, the latest Image books have all been great.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I like Radiant Black. I'd love to hear people's opinions.
I've liked it so far.
I like Radiant Black.
What I've read.
They're doing all this crazy crossover to make it this big as it. I was like, I don't even know if I like it, but I keep reading it, I guess. AWA, we've got to go hotel. My man John Lees, he's killing it over there. What other company do I read on the regular? Of course, Scout. I really liked Cult of Icarus. I read that this week. That's really, really good. I think those are the only companies that I support just by company name. And then I'm always reading whatever Bob Sally has for Source Point, but I think that's nothing right now.
Yeah, I don't think you got anything out right now.
Yeah. Oh, and Kickstarter, a book called Pocus Hocus that's on right now.
Right.
Is really, really good. Like, really good. I know that name is ridiculous, but it's really, really good.
I remember you going on and on about that last time I was on the Pocus.
Yeah. It's a ridiculous name, but it's a good book.
But
I got their last one.
Memorable name, you know.
True. Travis, I want to see a superhero book from you. When are you going to make that happen?
Hello.
One day, I do have a superhero idea, and it's really, really good, Brad. Like, really, really good. And I'm afraid that, like, if I use it too early and for a company, for another company or do it myself, like, it may not have the impact because it's really good. It's something no one's ever done before. It's really, really good. So, but that being said, I just finished writing an issue of Hotshot. So if you are a fan of FSK and Watson, I just wrote an issue of Hotshot for that. I think it's 1516 is the issue number.
Nice. I did a thing for Charlie McGelvey. Hopefully it'll be out this year. It's really funny because I wrote over like a course of several years because I wrote because it was just supposed to be a mini series, and then we decided to make a one shot. I wrote the first half. I was at my old job. That was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And last year in like December, I wrote the second half. And it's going to be. It's really funny because the art was already done for the first half. When it was really just when we did the first issue, and that artist went on to be on Steve Orlando's artist on Commanders in Crisis, and I was at Marvel. So me and Charlie were like, "Oh no, can we even get him back?"
Right. Well, I find it interesting. I find, and this is a question for the room actually, when you're following Kickstarter people, if someone does a superhero book, have you noticed that they tend to stick to it, right? They'll go like 10 or 12 issues where everybody else who's on Kickstarter will go in like 4 or 5 issue miniseries. They don't tend to have ongoing. What do you guys think? Why do you think that is? Anybody can answer that.
Audience retention?
Maybe.
It's also because it's more, you can't get it out as fast as say the big guys. You can't do it on a monthly thing. So if you're doing an ongoing, it's harder to do. Whereas if you do it like an arc, you can leave it at that, and then maybe later come back with a second. Or for American Dreams, issue 6 needs to be colored and lettered, and it's ready to go. That'll be the start of arc 2. But at the same time, I can save that and focus on something more like Night Raft because it's only a 3-issue first arc.
Right.
I like to do more ongoing stuff, and I got a lot of things cooking, but it all might be like arcs, and those all interconnect and weave with each other.
Yeah.
Various points of the timeline.
I figured that
Eventually, I want
might
to get back
be.
to a lot more in depth of American Dreams because I actually have the entire third arc of American Dreams already outlined.
I don't think people go to Kickstarter looking for monthlies, to be honest. I think they're looking.
That's true.
I think they go there to look for that which they cannot find normally in
Right.
the mainstream. You know, that's
Right.
where Kickstarter really has the advantage in that stories like many of us here working would probably not find its audience normally through the big ones because they were like, well, that's not what we're looking for. And out here, you don't have to worry about that. You put it out there and you do your due diligence. You work on getting the market ready for it, and you can be successful out here. And it's and if you want to do a monthly, I imagine you could do the sacrifice, and with the artists and the people involved, you can have maybe 3 or 4 issues in the can before you do it. But then again, how many people have that much time and the willingness to risk that the first one, if it's not a hit, you have all these 3 issues you did, and it is going nowhere now. You know, so it is. So I guess the way Kickstarter and Indiegogo works is basically, one-time shot. If it really goes well, then we can keep going, and people like it, we keep going on. Other things like that you don't normally see out there are the anthologies. That's where I find a lot of the best stuff is out there. You get a lot of opportunity to see a lot of people working together. And they're like, and the one I did here with Not So Fair Chill, you have a great group of people recognized from all over working on this one project. And therefore you really get a good sense that in one book, you can actually see artists you're going to say, hey, wait, where are they? Oh, they're in Kickstarter. Or they're doing now stuff like somebody said a moment ago. Now they lost them to Marvel. They're doing stuff for SourcePoint and stuff. And you see the growth. So I think if people are looking for monthlies, I think they're going to be basically looking at them at the record store, at the comic store, here. And I think they're ready for the mini series or the trade paperback. Some people put them out like Ron Randall puts them out. His stories are like 100 pages, like trade paperbacks right off the bat. So every time now it's a volume.
It's like there's Miskatonic High, which comes out pretty regularly on Kickstarter. And I know they're over at Advent, but they do the single issues for some. It's really interesting because they start with these very low goals because they know they're going to get funded because they've put in the work. And they've come out with 13 issues in the last 2-3 years, and now they have 2 trades.
Right.
And they have the secondary, their crossover one they did as well. So yeah. I've been trying to get into that deal for years. I've been telling dude, when are you going to put me in? When are you going to give me a shot in that? So yeah. I've been with them since the very first issue. I've been following them. I'm really, it's one of those things that you see it from the ground floor, and all of a sudden it has to become this whole thing that it's like so many issues have been out already. And other ones you see, they come out with one and that's it. You don't hear of it anymore. And sometimes those cases are like the vanity project. It's like, well, I finally did it. I finally published one book. You're done. And sometimes you can tell by the quality that's what it was. Other times they're just unlucky and they just don't get the grassroots to work with them. And then they struggle to get to that second and third one. But if you can get past that first and second and third, then you really got something going.
Yeah, and sometimes you have even bigger pitfalls, like for me last year, the whole, the switch to my publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but Soldier Dawn and called in a lot of favors for help, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it was my most successful Kickstarter yet. It was my second real Kickstarter under my own name, but it's like I had I think it was 5,000 something when I did issues 1 through 3. When I did 1 through 5, I had $6,000 plus, for 4 fees.
Well, I mean, that's the goal, right? To build all these. Tim, where did you end? I know we were trying to get you 100, but we killed that 100, right?
Yeah, actually, I had my record too. It was 129, and it was like $4,600 or something.
Great.
So that was like almost double actually, it was over double what we were looking for. So, we're going to keep, like he was saying, it's all about building your audience, right? And they follow along, and we do have sort of a stable of characters that we use and whatnot. And we were mentioning that you can. The kind of the cool thing about the series, it's a little bit along the lines of short stories, more so that you could buy a number 3 or a number 5 and you could still follow along what's going on. But if you like that kind of thing, they are in fact connected, and the whole universe is connected. And one of the things we were going to do, and that won't be ready for this Kickstarter, but it will be for the one after, which is the graphic novel of this version, which is 120 some pages now, and it'll be all in chronological order. With the stories do all, like I say, it locks up like a puzzle, but they're not necessarily sequential if you're following the series. Like one's way forward in the series, and there's one in the past, and that kind of thing. But it's all the same characters, and it's sort of it's 3 characters, and each one has an arc.
Nice. Johnny, what have you been working on?
Basically, just doing like little doodles here and there. I actually was thinking of doing like my own little mini story.
Nice.
Based on like it's a bit of a companion story to the main story that I already have, which is like literally almost 40 volumes that I've written over the course of like from like high school up to now. But this companion story I literally just came up with, like just dealing with it's based on all the crap that I'm dealing with in life.
Right.
And it's basically just a companion story of like, okay, this is what you're dealing with, this is how you're gonna get out of it. Now I keep hitting all these roadblocks. So my story is it's loosely based on real life. This companion story.
Well, I mean, that's what I love about Hamilton. I love Lin-Manuel. Write your way out, man. Write your way out.
Yeah.
Get your own
I mean,
shit.
literally, that's all I've just been doing, and just trying to just draw inspiration from wherever I can. I see Dan post on Twitter a whole lot, and I'm like, this guy always got something going. Like, I love it, low key.
Well, it's like there's a time I'm like, oh no, it's about more than I could chew.
Hey, Walter.
It's like I just look at Twitter. I'm like, here goes Dan. Then there's Kyler. Then here goes this person. Here goes that person. I'm like, this guy's always got something going.
There's a good community over Twitter. I think there's a good community over all the places. They're just different, right?
Yeah.
That's what took me a while to learn, and everybody's path is different, on how they do comics.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing, right? I look at Tim's stuff, and I still haven't got my physical copy yet. I think it's you finish it up. Is it getting mailed?
Yeah, it's at the printer right now.
Okay. But from everything I've seen, he's got high quality stuff, and I'm like, why is this guy only got 100 and something backers? And I said that when it was live, But I think that once people get it, they'll jump on crazy.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, figuring out how to adjust. Someone got mad at me, or not mad at me, but messaged me and be like, "Hey, Granite State Punk's not going to work. Haven't seen you promoting it."
Wow.
And, it's working quite well. It's doing fine.
Sure,
but it's because I built a built-in audience. I had an audience.
Right.
And I just need to expand that audience and how I do that. And, there is books that I need to promote the hell out of before I launch.
Yeah.
It goes each way. It depends on the market and what you're doing, and how you're presenting those ideas.
Well, and it's like you said, each time you sort of take what you learned from the one before, and you just expand a little bit each time. And we always said that if we were, when I say a business, like it took us really till the second time to realize it was essentially a business, right? Where you can make money or lose money. And at this point, I said, look, if we were doing 10% and we had any other business, we'd say, wow, this is great. But we're actually all doing much better than that. And they're, now that we've leveled up, you're 20, 30, 40% better each Kickstarter. In some cases, mine are, 60, 70, 80% better. And the books are starting to come out with a little bit more regularity. So what I told the guys the other day is what you learn from that, or excuse me, at least in my case, what I learned from it was that, like if you were a golfer or anything else, you would start to have that expert time that you spent with it, and you start to get progressively better at it, and you effectively level up. And I'm really grateful that you said that, Travis, and I can't wait to see what you think of the print version. But it is one of those things where, like, we were so happy with this growth on the last one, but now I see your point. Now you start to go, hey, why isn't it 200? And then why isn't it 500? Right?
Especially when you compare. I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out, but when you get some stuff in and you read it and you're like, this is not up to par, this is not where it needs to be to get to that next level. And everybody, that's the greatest thing about Kickstarter. It doesn't have to be. Everybody's welcome to the platform to do their stuff. So I'm not saying anything.
Right.
Certain people who are we are spending a lot of effort to make sure we've got the best art team, the best this, the best that.
Sure.
To put our stuff forward, because this is very, very next level, trying to get to where we need to go.
And I mentioned to you, I did attend sort of a class once, or not a class. It was like a session that it went through, a seminar with the CAE Studios, and they called it the Bullpen. That was Martin Dunn. He's the other punk guy. You know him, right?
Yeah.
And what they did is they taught you how to make comics, and they went through scripts and progressions, and it was a real useful thing for me to learn. And then, of course, as you know, once you start doing it, you go, well, hey, I kind of want it to be more like this, and you start to mold this creation that you're making, right? Yeah. And I think that once you're Kickstarters, once you start to accumulate your backers, and it feels funny to say now, but I guess we have enough of them, right? There's enough returning backers to where if it's for mine again, if it's 10 to 20% each time, it's enough to sustain the next book that's going to come out from that. Right. So yeah, and that's really not the secret. I'd say that's common knowledge, but it's hard to figure out how to find your audience first, and then the next hard thing I would guess is how to build it. And and I want to say thanks for the support, Travis, because you were one of the first ones there, because we were like, wow, 100, that was like a big milestone for us, and then we kind of blew past it, and it was much better than I thought we would do. So pretty happy about that.
This guy's having a rough day. He's pooping his pants. It's a stinky poo-poo. I'm sorry you're going through such a horrible situation, my bro.
I remember that when we were working on, and I like to come back to Not So Fairy Tales, because there was another projects I've been involved in Kickstarter, but they were like, I was basically in the background just working on some of the stuff. For Not So Fairy Tales, I was really involved from the very beginning, involved with the creator and the editing and everything, and all the people involved. And I had, like I said, 3 stories in there, so I really was invested in it. And I made sure that I promoted it a lot on my website, on all my Instagrams, on my Facebook, and I pushed it a lot for people to get into that pre-order mode, and as to like get notified. So we had like about 110 people on the notify, which was for us was like great, because that right off the bat, at least 100 people are going to get that notice once it goes live. And we covered on the first day 55% of our goal.
Right.
Nice.
And I was like, I was telling people, I was like Jerry Lewis on the telethons. I was like literally calling people on the phone and saying, look, have you pledged yet? You have not pledged yet. I don't see
Sure.
Oh, I just pledged. And I go like, ding, ding. Okay, I saw it. Come on. It's true. You did it. Very good. Let's keep going. And so by the end of the first week, we're almost covered. So it became a thing like, okay, can we push it beyond? Can we go get more for the next one? Can we keep going? Because we had a high number. We had about, I think it was a $12,000 funding. So we knew we had a long way to go. It was not going to be one of those, right, where you sometimes see 3,000, 5,000. You go like, those are possible, a lot easier to get to, but we had a rough way. So I knew that once we got to 6,000 the first day, I said, wow, it's pretty good. And so we ended up, I think it was like, we got to about 18, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we were like, it was really, really cool to have gotten to that point. And so I think a lot of it was, like I said, I was doing my show. So I had every week, I had a different artist, writer involved in that series on my show.
Right.
And building up. And I did almost every show available out there on on Facebook, podcasts, everything. I was on everywhere. People were getting sick of me. Like, yes, this is coming out. It's going to be out here. It's going to be awesome. You got to see this. Look at this. Look at this. And it contributed, but it's like they say, it's work. It is work. You got to, the way I was looking at it is like, I want this to be in as many people's hands. So first of all, it was supposed to be my first published work, but because of all the delays of the shipping, it actually being the 3rd thing that came to my hands. All those things that they did after actually arrived before that, because I was supposed to have this for Baltimore, for New York, for C2E2, and it never arrived until now. So, but it was just great. So I tell people out there, it's like you have to put in the time. This industry, The majority of the people are really, really cool. They will give you a hand. Like right now, a good friend of mine, Babisu Touris, he is the illustrator. He does Robin Hood for Xenoscope.
Okay.
He is adapting with the writer, and I'm not gonna say that writer's name because I don't remember. I don't want to make a mistake, but he's putting out a book called Primitive Wars, which is the comic book adaptation of that novel, and the script was worked by the writer himself, and it's a fantastic book. And they've been working on it, I think, for like 2 or 3 years. And now that it's going to be coming out in March, it's going to be out on Kickstarter and stuff. And I'm going to have them come on my show in April, the very week they're launching, to make sure, hey, people, here's the artist, the writer, the illustrator, the colorist, and I am here. We're going to hang out and push them through there. It's just like other people helped me for mine. I'm going to help him for that one, and so like anytime anybody has anything out there, feel free to contact me, because I have my inking show, but I'm also creating this one, which is like conversations with our artists and creators that are separate. So those are going to be special shows in between every once in a while. So if anybody needs a little boost or something, feel free to let me know. We'll try to accommodate it, near during the shows, because at the end of the day, hopefully you'll do the same for me. And
you're not welcome on any of my shows.
And right now, I'm looking for it. I have projects, because out of this book, there's one story I did. It's called the Jackal, which these are based off of fairy tales, and the reviews and previews of that has been really, really good. The artist I asked to work with me on it enjoyed it so much that he said, and I've been telling him, look, I'm thinking of expanding the universe. I think I got more stories within that idea. And as soon as he said it, okay, we got to do it. I said, well, let's put it on this anthology. No. Let's do it ourselves. Let's put it out as a book. So my whole idea is to take that version, redo it in another side, because I want to go old school. I want to go back to my youth. And I would love to produce that as a pulp magazine style, like the old creepy creeps. Easy Comedy, the Savage Sword of Conan.
Yeah, man.
And I'm asking people, where can I find a printing house that will do it that way, so I can recreate that feeling? Because nowadays everything, the stock paper is much stronger and stuff. And I know a buddy of mine, Russ Rangsball, he told me to contact the editor of Creeps, who does it. But I haven't gotten any contact from him. But that's where I want to know, because I really I want to do that. Because it's when I told John, look, I'm going to get somebody to color. He goes, like, why? You're an inker. I'm an illustrator. You're the writer. Why do we want to put somebody coloring over it? We're going to show ourselves off. We'll go black and white like it used to be. And I'm like, okay, let's go black and white. And there are books out there now on Kickstarter that do go black and white, and they do well. So it's all in getting the good mess. And this story is, like I said, the story in there was a really cool ending, and people would think, but it's already ended. Nah, I have another way to bring in the themes for that, because that story originally was a different concept. Because for another book I did for Stupendous, I had a story that dealt with a really serious topic, and it had already done all the illustration part. But when COVID came, John, who's the artist of Jackal with me, he asked me, look, can you tone it down a bit? And I had to change the story to be a little more lighthearted. So that story always stayed in my back. I think I got to bring this to the fore someday. So I'm going to use Jackal maybe to bring a little bit of it into the whole area. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. That one shot I'm going to do, I'm going to hopefully create a conversation out of that. I think today it befalls a lot of us, to counteract all this negativity and all these stigmas and all these issues we're seeing out there. And some people say, well, we should be more like distractions, but sometimes the reality is becoming the distraction, and we need to bring a different light to a situation that, because of all the constant bombardment of all these things, there are topics I want to talk about. There's things I really feel that affected me, affected my family, affected friends, and that are just put under the rug, and unless you dig deep, you don't see it. And hopefully, some of these stories will bring that up.
Nice.
Yeah, sure.
Preach.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, no, it's exciting. That brings up a good subject though. Tim, this is kind of a weird one for you. Everybody else may have a different answer. What do you think the power of anthologies are? Since your books are all anthologies on stuff, is there a what is the power of that? How does that work? How does that retain fans? Because anybody who buys an anthology, you buy it and you just hope you're not the bad one, right?
Exactly.
When you write everything in the book, it's a lot easier to be like, well, they're like one of them, right? But when you write an anthology, you hope that I just don't want to be the bad one. So you're competing with everybody else against you.
And let me tell you, the anthology thing, first of all, it's a great question. I'd be happy to answer that. And I've been really lucky in the aspect that when we started kind of early, basically I was a short story writer, right? And I hadn't got a whole lot of traction with writing short stories. And of course, there's magazines and things you can submit to and this kind of thing. But there wasn't, what I was trying to do was build a brand, build a universe, right? And it's a little bit of a science fiction universe. And what we wanted to do as a type of training exercise, really more so for me in the beginning days, was to try and reach out to some of these artists, some of them the best in the world, right? And say, hey, well, it'll help me get better if I work with these great artists. And much to my surprise, some of them said yes. So I got lucky there. But I will say that my long-term plan, and you and I chatted about this, to really have an successful anthology, I think you need other writers as well. I just happen to be on a team where, like it or dislike it, I'm the only writer. Like we have 3 letterers now, and we have Kickstarter designer, and we try to do all the right things, Travis, as you know. But man, I see some of these creative teams, and I'll speak for Travis. I mean, they're top talent, level people in our industry. So regarding the anthologies, I think what you get is a better product if it's anthologized, especially in this sense, depending on what they're trying to do. If it's a group of guys or girls that can work together, like some of ours work on almost the same, like I was saying, some of the stories sort of butt up against each other, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So it's useful if you have some harmony between your teammates. My story, I like to say, is a little bit about my production story. I mean, is a little bit about the fact that I was fortunate enough to get good teammates, and we all get along really well. Some people have pointed out that it might be the fact of I'm a better teammate than a creator, because I am open to the idea of other writers, and before it wasn't. I mean, I'm getting to the level now though where I do get hits on that, and I did do the thing where I hire the time to help people produce their books, and I've got a couple of hits on that as well. Because, but like I say, my books aren't perfect, Travis, but mine come out right, and that's one of the things we all know as creators. We all got that friend who has 80 chapters planned, and it's going to be this and it's going to be that, but then the darn thing never comes out. You've got to sort of set your stories on that little train, and they chug toward the exit, which in my case is the Kickstarter platform primarily.
No, that's good.
Yeah, and I think the anthologies, in the broad sense too. The other thing we chatted about was I try to submit now to. I'm in one with your wife this year, right?
Yeah, coming right up, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the next big one, and again, man, just an honor to be included. So what you do is my advice for anybody who's starting to try to be a writer or creator or artist, whatever it is you're trying to make. The world we live in now is so digital. Just step up and start swinging, because it's all about if you're prepared at the time, and if you have your art or your story or your project, if you can line it up, you can just make it, and there's really nothing holding you back.
True.
Yeah, Daniel. So, how many anthologies have you been in? What have you done?
I've done Project Big Hype. I've done this COVID, a couple prose pieces for a couple other anthologies. One's not out yet, but one I did was a prose entry for basically people's experiences during the COVID pandemic. I wrote about my first day back at work during the pandemic, and I talked about how quiet Midtown Manhattan was. If you've ever been in Midtown Manhattan, it's never quiet.
Right.
Dead.
That is true.
Quiet.
Wow.
And it is like Fifth Avenue, middle of Manhattan. It's like It also didn't help. It was a foggy, rainy day. It was one of the creepiest days of my life.
Ghost Town.
And I'm also in this little upcoming thing. You may have heard, Travis, Cthulhu vs. Wonderland.
Yeah, it's never coming out. It's never coming out. I mean, we got a lot of stuff done for it, but never.
Yeah. Like I've entered a lot of others. I haven't gotten into them yet. One almost got into, but it only didn't. It just missed the criteria by like this much apparently.
Right.
I just also submitted to this like noir take on Greek myths anthology. But I already told the artist if you don't get it, I really have an idea to turn this into like a one shot.
Nice. That's always a good idea. Yeah, that's one of the things that I do. I have a book called Parallels where I take all my things that I put in anthologies that I can reprint into a little book that people can read that I think is kind of cool. Johnny, have you ever thought about doing with your little doodles and your stuff, submitting to an anthology?
Well, I thought about it, but me being a rookie right now in this industry, it's like I dare not to do anything at this point. I'm kind of just trying to I'm still trying to even navigate through the entire industry and the community. Like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? What advice do I get? So I just dare not to just do anything, I want to say I dare not to be bold right now, I guess.
Right.
Like, just kind of take it one step at a time, I guess, kind of.
See, I would encourage you to do the opposite. Submit to as many anthologies as possible. If you get accepted,
right?
It's so easy to get an artist to donate like 4 pages and get paid on the back end. Because it's not a lot of work, and they love it when they're already in, right? Where they don't have to do any of the work, right? They don't have to submit anything. So if your story is strong, I'm super blessed at being in the level right now where I get asked. I'm at the early invite. Hey, can I get you? But it's not because of my talent. To be honest, they want my money, right? They're like, Travis produces so much. Like, we know he can get a few videos, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Like, I will happily, I've said this before, if somebody needs a boost on their Kickstarter, if they keep producing, they can't do it, I'll happily write a 4-page backup or something for you, as long as I don't have to pay anything to help you get to that next hurdle, if that'll help you get the way. And I've done that for the Pit. I did that for Return to Sender. There's ways to do that, but I think anthologies are the easiest way. I know Richard Duack, who was on my show on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I know Rich.
His first book was called Gutter Magic. Gutter Magic is very similar to what Tim does, but it's not anthology style. The guy travels in different realms, so every artist he could get. So he just goes, "Hey man, could you do 4 pages for me?" And he did these 4 pages, the next 4 pages, and he kind of tied it into the story that he was putting together. And then didn't have to spend a lot and could still do his thing, right?
Kind of like what Charlie McKelvey is doing with Spider Squirrel. Though that madness.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff too.
An anthology, that's how I got my break. My first break was doing. I tried to get into Horrendous #1 the first time, and I was late. And then John told me, look, I'm going to do another one, get in there. So I got into that one. And that's where I did the stupendous story of Massive Man in there, the superhero. And then after I did that one, he asked me to do Horrendous again, #2. And then I did my the Spider story, horror story. Then, because I did those 2, John Enfield saw me. He liked what I wrote. And he said, why don't you join me and help bring some stories into Not So Fair Tales? And I gave him 4 and he chose 3 of them. Right. And then after doing that, somebody saw what I did there and they go like, you know what? I need an artist to help me on this other anthology. Can you help me on this one? I was like, I'll do that one. Then another writer, Jeff Weber, saw me on Not So Fair Tales to go like, you know what? I like your style. I have this other anthology. Do you want to bring something to it? Yes. And I got 2 stories in that one coming in. So I've been telling people, if you can find that perfect group of people, of friends that are constantly involved in anthologies, you'll never be a lack of any type of work. Right. Getting done, because I believe I met Travis. I met Drew through one of those things, I believe. And there's there are groups in there and everything. And I'm always trying to find, oh, look, somebody's looking for this stuff. And And I sent things in, and then I remember there was one I sent in, and they told me, no, this is only for European people. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I stopped them, not worried about it. Then the guy comes in and says, you know what? I've been looking at your stuff. We'll bring you in anyway. You're not European. We'll take you anyway. And the problem was I had already committed to so many of the things. I told him, look, now I'm kind of busy.
Right.
And now I was unable to give him the story, which I would have liked, because I thought, man, that's an area I'm not in Europe. You know, I would have been, but I just didn't have the time. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I don't know who mentioned it a moment ago. I'm writing it up completely, rewriting it. I'm going to give it to a buddy of mine and say, look, he's going to do a US version. Let's have it ready. Let's have it ready now. And if not, we'll just put it out ourselves. We'll find another anthology for it, but just to have it done. So I like anthologies. I told my wife, if my lot in life is to only be known for doing anthologies, I can live with that. Because anthologies give me an opportunity to change it up. Because already for the Not So Fairy Tales, Volume 2 is not going to be the same. It's going to be a totally different concept. And of course, you already told me you're in, right? I'm like, yeah, okay. He already gave me the gist of it. Now I have to sit down and start working some new ideas for that one. So I already know I'm in that one. So I really find the anthology community is really, really nice. And Johnny, you should just swing for the fence, man. You know, what the worst that can happen is they say no. The best and worst thing they can say to you is that you're in. Best thing is they, I'm in. The other thing is, oh my God, I'm in. It's like,
exactly. And that was the thing, is like, another Comic-Con I went to before C2E2 of last year, I had showed my portfolio on Twitter, and I also brought it with me to the con. One of these artists, I don't know who this guy was. I never met him a day in my life. I don't even remember his name. And he was just basically like, you're new to this industry, don't aim high. Basically, it's like, just don't do nothing. And it was the weirdest advice I cannot make this up. Weirdest advice I ever heard. That was like, what do you mean don't aim? I don't get it. I tried to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
You probably talk to that 1% of our industry or asshole.
Probably.
Or maybe your art was so good it intimidated the person.
Yeah,
I mean, because
that is also very true. That could be very true.
That could really be true, because I would tell you, my experience is the community is very welcoming and stuff. I would say jump right in, and you'll meet so many people that are cool. It'll outweigh that.
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm with David. Only 1%. Yeah, we've got at least a 5% of assholes in the community.
I mean, there's assholes, and then there's assholes.
Exactly.
4%. All right.
Right. And speaking of David, me and him, we need to talk. We don't even talk as much. Hey, David.
David, talk to Johnny. Johnny, talk to David.
Literally. Matter of fact, let me message him on Twitter right now.
Hit him up on Twitter.
No, but it's like that. Unfortunately, what happened to Johnny, I actually have seen it happen. And again, not to bring up any kind of issues and stuff, but so many times I've spoken to African-American artists, and they feel that same feeling at times. And you'll see somebody with inferior work be praised while they are not. I'm like, really? My best friends are all great African-American friends, artists like Keith Williams, Larry Stroman, Charles Simpson, the list just goes on. And even at their level, they're still not recognized as well as other people. And in the stories I hear sometimes from, like Sean MacArthur, who was a good friend of mine here in Brooklyn, he would tell me that people of his own group will diss him. They'll diss him and go like, they don't respect me, man. They're my own people. Don't respect me as much as other people do. And it's like, it's messed up. It's sometimes really messed up. So when I heard that right now, I was like shocked, but unfortunately not as shocked as I should be. It's and it's just unfortunate for you, man. I'm sorry you had that like that, but don't, like I say, if a bum like me can get anything done, you can get. I'm telling you, man.
I mean, I
Sometimes
appreciated it. It just like
Well,
when I got the advice, it just kind of just threw me. I was just like, what the? Like, I just for some reason I literally just couldn't figure. It took me months trying to figure out what he meant, and I still didn't figure it out. And I was like, you know what? Just forget it. I'm just gonna just do my own thing, keep to myself, and then that's just about it. Whatever happens, just happens.
well, the advantage of, speaking of the Black community, not that I should, but it's Black Heritage Month stuff. I love the Black comic community. They have their own conventions. They have their own little segment, which I think is really awesome. I think that's really really cool that they have this extra little stuff to help them build support, like that geek community. If there's a lot of events here in Florida where I'm like, oh, I want to go to that con. They're like, oh, you can't. You can't. You can go, but you can't table. Like
right.
this is
Yeah.
for African American creators, which I think is I think it's such a blessing that any race or any group can have their own community, right? No different than Kickstarter or Indiegogo or manga or whatever the case would be. How do you increase? What if you can be a big fish in a smaller pond? As you get the smaller pond and be a bigger fish there, you can help. It'll help you grow in the other ponds, right? So the big community pond of comics, which I think is great. And the same thing with anthologies, right? If you can grow in that anthology pond and everyone knows this guy brings a good story every anthology, it's just a matter of time of going, hey man, why don't you do a full issue over here? I think that all those things grow. Anything that you have, like I'm the opposite of everybody else. Like anything that you have that gives you an edge, use the shit out of that. Like use it. Like
Right?
I don't care. I hate it when people are like, well, you have this, this, and this. So like, use it. Like if you're good at making friends, use it. If you have money to buy better artists and better covers, get those better covers. Just create. Do what you got to do. Just right. Like David said, just push to create. Whatever you need. Hey, Aaron, don't worry, man. You're more than welcome to join us if you want to show. He's on his last days of his Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, don't be afraid to also, if you're not getting it, the opposite side of that is don't be afraid to ask. I've seen so many people quit because they were afraid to ask, hey, how did you do this? Or how did you get there? Or they think that there's some magic spell. There was a video that I watched that talked about a backer group. So the theory is this, Tim, you'd love this. You clearly need to get into it. So the theory is that there's 20 creators or so, and we all have like $100 that we share for people's campaigns. So when it's my campaign, you give me $100 and 19 other people give me $100. That gets me to my $2,000. I fund instantly. And that's how it works. And that's how we keep the numbers going. And we just rotate. And I'm like, I backed 600. So all of them I backed at 100. That's a lot. That's a big story. About to board game. My love. Have a great night, you talented people. You too,
Thanks,
David.
David.
You too.
Appreciate you.
Stop messaging my wife. It just makes me uncomfortable. No, my wife's his editor. I'm just kidding.
I tell you, I have a question for the group, and maybe if you guys know this, I would love to hear your replies to it. One of the things that I'm working on is, we want to improve the quality and the size of the mailing list where you're emailing the people directly. And there's different ways, of course, to capture the names. There's list builders and things like that. They tend to not really be too great of customers at times. Obviously, Kickstarter is the best one, or at least it has been for me. What do you guys do to build your email customers?
I don't have an email list. I have to.
Yeah, same here. I got nothing.
Hey, Jack.
Well, I have an email list. That's where I get all my backers, Tim.
Yeah. That's my best one too. I'm surprised, Daniel, you got good followers. Where do you get your followers from then? Instagram?
It's like I was actually looking at this earlier today at where I got everything from Kickstarter. I actually got more backing for American Dream 12-5 from Twitter than Facebook.
Is it
Instagram, which is interesting. Normally it's the other way around.
That is interesting. I don't do as well on Twitter. I guess maybe I got to figure out how to improve that one. But I'll tell you what I'm going to try is to, we do these songs now, and I'm going to try to maybe. What I was thinking was you could download the song by giving your email address and try to capture them that way.
Yeah. So what I found is, I've seen people do the list builders and stuff, and they're great, and you may get a backer or two from it. Because you target towards a theme. Like for you, it'd be like
sci-fi. I did want to. I was in with Russell Noelty on the last the sci-fi it's a giveaway is what it is. And they,
yeah, but you only get a small percentage of that matters, right?
Right. Yeah. And also you got to be careful how you use it, which I'm a MailChimp user.
Okay.
And you can't just dump in names from like they have to be curated a little bit, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there's got to be. Anyway, you can't just buy the names and dump it in. You'll be in violation of terms. So yeah, that's one of the things that I have to learn a little better. And I'm the best thing to do is if you can have an event or an online something and people sign up to it. That's the full legit way, right? But you're not going to get 10,000 names that way. And my guess is you need probably, I would guess 10,000 anyway.
Well, one of the things that I do is when I'm in an anthology that I have a little pull in, I ask them, hey, as part of my payment, can I get some of the email lists, in lieu of payment?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
sometimes that's the case. And, all you have to do is change the verbiage when you write the Kickstarter,
Right.
Can our creators have access to your stuff? That's a good one. The other one is I switched to Substack, and Substack has.
Oh, wow.
Substack not only has it got me, I've made money on Substack. I have actually Substack members of people who pay a premium to be on my Substack. So I have the free Substack, which is
no kidding. How about that?
I'm getting a better open rate than MailChimp. I'm not paying anything because MailChimp has no limit on how many emails. I'm getting people to sign up naturally because they have a feed, like a hashtag comics feed, that'll show my free post on the regular, so people sign up for it. And then I added a premium service. So what I've done, and this is, I think, a really cool thing. I don't think anybody's ever done it. I'm creating a comic book with my people. So my people from Substack. So I gave them 5 options of my next comic book. They voted on one, and then we're going to choose the artist. We're going to choose the script. We're going to vote on all that stuff through the whole process.
Interesting.
And it's only one of my titles, but it allows that community base. And I mean, I've made like $200, on it so far. They bought the online going members, and then I've got some $5 members who just pay me monthly to just be part of it, which is pretty cool. And I don't think, I mean, let's be honest, I have 300 backers, you have 125. We're not that far apart, really. Like in the grand scheme, I'm not the 1,000 Charlie Stickney. He had like 1,500 backers on White Ash.
Right. Sure.
So
exactly.
I think anybody can do it at the success level they have. And what it worked really well for me is I know a lot of people have Patreons, but Patreons for a writer is really hard, right?
It is. It is. And plus, Mike, the content that I make, and like I say, I can't speak for everybody. Because what I'm doing is a little different, right? Like they tend to be, the stories aren't particularly short necessarily. They're 18 to 20 pages, which doesn't even lend itself really to a webtoon format or anything like that.
Right.
Although I got to be open-minded. I got to stay open-minded. But, I don't have the short bursts of, my content is all a little bit more graphic novelish. It's something you sit down with and read. I need to focus on a couple of things like what you're saying, which, some of these shorter stories are very powerful and very effective. It's just something I haven't done as much of. Honestly, this one that's in the anthology, that's an 8-pager, and that's about as short as I've done. So when you say it's hard to do the Patreon or even the Substack, I don't know if I could generate enough content to
but you do. You have things going in the fire all the time, And then what's good about you is, I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, because of the way you write, you have multiple stories getting produced to art at the same time. Correct? Right.
Yeah, I do have that.
You can show an art page.
I could probably
show a completely different page on the regular versus Daniel. Let's say he was just doing American Dreams. It's just American Dreams art all day. Right now he's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Right. But like if you got Daniel a year ago, hey, here's some more American Dreams. Hope you're excited.
Like last year, I had started doing more stuff like behind the scenes, but like the last couple of years, I was concentrating on getting 80 out, and getting 80 out, and just wanted to get that out the door because I was kept being told you have to concentrate on the one book. After a while, I'm like, I have to vary it up a little bit.
Right.
And it also, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish your idea. Finish your comment.
I was going to say in the end, we were all kind of talking about how to focus on anthologies, and I'm in agreement with that to try and do as many anthologies as possible, especially for writers. And I would say that your chance of getting into the anthology is sometimes decided by math. And that's just something I learned this last time around. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes you might be working with an editor, or in most cases a publisher, and their instruction might be, I'm looking for a 6-page story. You might have a terrific 10-pager, but you're not getting in.
Right.
Well, let me bring up something that happened to me. It was a good learning experience. Russell Nolte has the Cleophas Hard to Spell anthologies.
Right.
He's got his final one coming out, the Battle Royale coming out. Well, I threw my hat into that, and I was not chosen. And I was like really bummed out because I thought, man, this is a damn good story. I know this is good. So I asked him straight up, what happened? And he goes like, dude, I don't know you. Okay. And this was before we had worked on Not So Fair Tales and stuff. So now he knows who I am. But at that moment, he says, I don't know you. And you want to send in and want me to commit to you the largest page stories available, which is an 8-pager.
Yeah.
How do I know you're gonna be cool? Are you gonna make the deadlines? Are you gonna make, because if you fail, 8 pages for me is a hard thing to fill. Now, if you come in with a 2-page story, you would have been in, because 2 pages, if somebody screws the pooch there, I'll put 2 pinups. I can get something to fill in 2 pages, even 4, but 8 is hard. So when you're talking about going shorter, it's really, for me, it's like concentrating in those small sizes is hard. So when, for example, somebody who's here right now, Jeff Weaver told me, look, send me some ideas. What did I send him? A 2-pager and a 6-pager, and both were approved, because why, they're easy to go with, though he already knew who I am. And so, and my daughter, she says, well, how can I do it? So like, offered for a book. I sent in one for, what was it? I Love Robots Kickstarter anthology.
Yeah.
My daughter got in. I didn't get in because, again, I went in with a too big. It wasn't, the story was still too long. It was like they didn't trust the artist I had assigned, and it really pissed me off because I think he was really good. But outside of that, I told my daughter, go simple, go with 1 page. She got in because they go, all right, we don't know you, but 1 page for us is not a big deal. And she did a pinup. It was great for her. So, I mean, it's just sometimes if you don't know people involved personally in the anthology, it's better to go lower, and increases your chances to get a chance to be chosen if you have a good idea. And then you can go for the bigger ones once you know the people involved and go, look, I can produce, I'm on time. Like, and I know I keep going back to Not So Fair Tales. That's my favorite one for now. That's the one that I proved I could put as 3 stories for an anthology on time, ahead of schedule, and promote the heck out of it. Don't you think they're going to ask me to be in the next one? Of course they are. So that's why he's a proven commodity. So as long as you keep going out there and people seeing you producing, start small, and then you can move to the bigger ones when you have the opportunity, because a lot of these don't want to go beyond 6 or 8 pages anyway.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And like, for example, the one of the things I was today from the Static over at Band of Bards. First of all, they had a rubric, so they had basically grading your entry, and they had over 200 and around 200 entries. Only 16 got in. Right.
And that happens a lot because, for example, I Love Robots, they weren't expecting so many submissions, and they were like, wow, we got so many. They were able to pick and choose. So, and that's a good thing. We have an anthology that way when you're getting it out there. So sometimes, it's a learning experience. There was another one I did get into, and unfortunately, it didn't fund. So that story that I drew that was a 1-pager. It's like somewhere there, someday I'll produce it on my own and put it in there somewhere.
I didn't get into that last. Did you see the Becoming Anthology?
I knew about it. I couldn't think of a good idea enough to submit to it. But
I had one perfect, I thought, about a guy becoming. He was a soldier who became a robot soldier, and they made him fight for the other side. But it didn't get in. So there it goes to show you. That was an 8-pager.
Hey, I'm not going to talk to Greg, because Greg, he's been promising me to be in Chronicles.
Yeah, I got to get in Chronicles too, man. I got to work with Greg. I love that guy.
He finally tells me, hey, guess what? You're going to be in number 3. And then it goes like, oh, great. When is that coming out? Oh, in 2023. Really? Really? You're waiting a year?
Man.
Wow.
I'll
Thank you.
tell you, anthologies. So from the other angle, for someone who's produced, I
Hey,
produced
Greg, I still
9.
love you, man. I still love you, man. No problem. Greg's been on my show and stuff. He's awesome. And I've worked with a bunch of the guys who've been in those books. Chronicles of Horrors is a great one of those independent anthologies. It's still in comic book form. Number 1 came out 2 years ago, just before the COVID stuff, and then number 2 is got Kickstarter funded, and now it's out there. And I think they're producing it now, so he's going to be busy with that. And anyway, I'm in for number 3, so I know I got work for me into 2023, so I'll be in that one eventually. But and Jeff Weaver down here, Weber, he also has he has his own stories up there. I think it's Bug Hunt.
Yeah.
He produces a comic Bug Hunt, and he said here Not So Fair looks so good. It is a great book. Really, and I think it's really if you've ever bought any of Russell Nolte's classic books or his Pixel one, the real square hardcover, pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great printing. I mean, unfortunately, they got set up it's getting printed now. Yeah. So
let me talk about, so it's really hard when you produce these things, because Cthulhu Invades Oz, I handpicked everybody. I handpicked my friends. I literally was like, hey, you like me, I like you, can we do something? And then in 2, once it got a little successful, I was like, all right, well, any of my friends can now be part of it. So they all came and drove, and we filled it up very, very fast, and then now we're working on 3, which is Neverland. Well, there's not a lot of characters in Neverland, so I have to cut and go back to it. But I got to tell you, every time I do an anthology, people get upset with me because I didn't include them, or I didn't ask them, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. It's really rough. Like, I owe everyone a favor, like, to be part of it, and it's tough. And you do your best to put out these things. I've had several different stories of anthologies. This is how you find your actual friend of Travis. Well, Charlie, I was going to invite you to an anthology once, and David said, don't ever invite Charlie to an anthology. He had a bad experience. That's just what I heard. Something of that. That may not be a direct quote, so I apologize if, like, someone from Charlie's anthologies is like, what did you say, Charlie? But something along those lines. Don't ask Charlie. He doesn't want to do anthologies. That's what I hear. That's why I'm not on the screen up there. Oh, I said you could come. You have to send me a message. I'm only going to do another 15 minutes. But let me tell you some stories. For me, Cthulhu's Hard to Spell 2, I wasn't included in it. I did the story anyways and then got accepted. Like, I just did it and started sharing it online. And Russ was like, I made a mistake. I need that story. And yeah. I did, because I felt so strongly about the story. If I'm writing a story and I feel that strongly about it, I'm effing making it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to make it.
I did that too, Travis. I had the instruction that we were going to try to be in anthologies. It was one of the goals, right?
Right.
And I knew that that was one that was coming up that we could apply for. And I didn't think I would get very far by my name, because I was kind of still not as well known then. Sure. And hey, I wanted to have some samples, right? So we made the story, and what it is, of course, ours is a sci-fi story, so it's framed in a way that if it wouldn't have got into Cthulhu Battle Royale, it was going to be in Water Wars 2288. It's Cthulhu 3288, we call it. That's what it was called then. But it was a backup plan, because, of course, you don't know if you're going to get into an anthology.
Absolutely. And I've had friends, too, who message me and go, oh, I didn't invite you because when I was doing, what is it called? The Terraform or Terra Prime, the Brian Silverback's one that he did with a whole bunch of bigger, he was like, I just assumed that you were too big for me. I was like, by what? What made you think that? Please tell me. I would like to hang out with those people. Like, I want to know who thinks I'm too big. And so I ended up doing it and getting. He's like, well, you need to do it in like 3 weeks. I was like, yeah, I can do it in 3 weeks. I know people who want to work in things, who want to work with me. Like, I always have people. But that's why I also give back. I don't know if you guys know this. In my Voodoo comics, I always have 2 pages for indie creators. To do it, I open it up to a couple of people, or I ask somebody who I want. They want to be published and they need a little bit of clout. So I was like, let me help you with my stuff. I even did it in a couple of Broke Down. Broke Down I was a little bit more protective of. Broke Down I wanted to write them. But now I write art, whole thing. You can be a backup in the story, trying to help you out.
Yeah.
Whatever I can do.
I'd like to try something like that too, as far as I don't know what form, but something like, the back page section where it's an indie gallery, or something where it's all of the creators together and it's some kind of team up.
Yeah, yours is a little hard because it's all anthology. So adding another anthology to the back, it doesn't, feels weird. But
yeah, I think in my case, I was thinking more like support these creators, and it would be like a look at their titles, like a house ad, I guess you'd call it.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, my story that I wanted to submit it to Russell. I liked it so much in the sense of, anytime I write something, because in this case it was like, it's because of the essence of the story of an anthology, you're kind of like falling into the middle of a conversation, right? And you're showing the story in between the whole idea. But when I wrote it, I felt that I wanted to know what happened before we got to that point, and I also want to know what happens after that point. And I always feel that whenever I feel that, I got something. So I got to sit back now and see. Then it didn't make it to the big show. I'm gonna see what I can do with it, because I liked it enough that I'm going like, maybe this got legs for something else down the line. I can turn it around a little more and tweak it there for something. And that's a writer. I have so many things out there, and for people who don't understand, it takes a lot of time. Not only once you write it, it's to get it produced. To find people to draw it, ink it, color. Sometimes people think they just think it magically appears, here, I thought about it. It's on the page. Oh, buy it now. It takes time.
Well, yeah, and you never know. You could submit it to one place and it doesn't get accepted for whatever reason, and it'll turn up somewhere else. We just had that happen with we had this book last year, the Hunchback Book, and I submitted that for an open call at Exciting Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it didn't. Exciting Comics is a little bit more like Hero Comics that's been done at Antarctic. Sure. Well, I kind of knew already, but he's like, no, we could put this. He goes, listen, that's not going to make it in Exciting Comics. He goes, hey, would you consider putting it in Planet Comics? Yeah, man, I'm just looking for a home for it, some distribution. So that'll be later this year. That'll be through Antarctic.
That's great. And we've got Aaron. Aaron, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm just here to crash the party a little bit. What's going on?
Welcome.
Well, hold on. Johnny hasn't had a chance to talk in a little bit. Johnny, have we convinced you to submit to an anthology yet?
Pretty much. It depends on who gets to me first.
Oh, now they have to beg for you? Oh, all right.
I'm not saying beg. Just, it depends. Who hits me up first? It's like, is it going to be you? Is it going to be Enrique? Is it going to be Timothy? Who is it?
Well, Phil Charles is in here. There are Facebook. There is the comic book anthology creators. I think it's the group.
Yeah.
You should get involved in that. And they're constantly bombarding. I mean, right now it's kind of quiet, but a few months ago it was like every week. But the other thing, you got to be very careful in those groups there.
Yeah.
Make sure, because a lot of people put stuff in there and they're not really that pro about it. And so you got to do your due diligence. And not get because like I said, everybody wants to put something out there and doesn't mean it'll work. And sometimes the ideas sound even better. So just be sure about what you get into. And like I said, I think the best way would be to see who's involved and hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Follow me. I'll follow you. And you say, look, I'm listening about this one. Have you heard of this one? I say, yeah, the person who runs that one is really good. Get involved, or I'll say, I don't know about that one. I haven't heard of it. Always use your friends and the people out there, because you don't want to be doing work and then finding out that it's been ripped off or just ignored or sits there and goes nowhere.
Absolutely, and that was just like the thing. Like I met this one person on Twitter, and he was trying to do like an anthology, but it didn't really go nowhere. And then the killer part is that he wanted to get me on, but he wasn't gonna pay me to do it. So it was like he basically wanted like free work, like free, like he wanted me to draw something, but then he wanted me to like ink something, and it didn't go anywhere. And I was just like, yeah, no, because I don't like being taken advantage of. So once that happened, I was just like, I didn't really know, whether anthologies were for me. And after that experience, that was just that was kind of weird.
Yeah, anthologies are tough because sometimes it's pay at the end, sometimes it's pay for credit and copies. Everyone's different. So
Yeah,
don't do that. And it looks like a lot, man. Like I think we raised 26,000 on Cthulhu Invades Oz, but if you factor in, I had to give comps to a whole bunch of people. I had to
yeah,
pay everybody $50 a page. I had to pay for covers, which are an additional amount.
Right.
Some had foil prints, some had hardcovers. They had different price
right.
points. I was afraid to go overseas, so I paid for them all on the U.S. because I didn't want to be stuck in a stupid boat like Enriquez.
Oh,
Yeah, no, the day Cthulhu Invades Oz finished, Trump goes, I'm going to pass a tariff on anything from China coming in. I was like, I'm not printing
oh,
China right
jeez.
now. And not even like getting political. I was just like, nope, I don't care if Biden said it. Like,
It's like, nope, red flag.
but hold on. Let's show Aaron's book because he's got like 13 hours left. Let's show his book real quick. Aaron has some of the best art in Kickstarter. He really does.
Oh, I want to see some
Come on.
art.
He's got some hot looking art. And he's a member of Second Sight, so his book is published in the secondary market, so you can pick up his book.
I'm following Second Sight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow this.
So Hades right here. Tell us about Hades, Aaron.
So Hades is basically it's a one shot that I did for my main story, which is Book of Laxia, and this is essentially a book 0, as well as a fill-in chapter for the rest of the book. It's really a standalone story that if you read it, you basically find out what happened with this character. It basically fills in the world. And as well, it fills all the gaps. If you read the first 4 chapters and then you read Hades, you basically get everything. Everything falls into place. I specifically wrote it that way. I mean, I know we talked about it, Travis, when you were asking me, love to read, and sometimes it was moving in a snail pace. This is it. This is the chapter that basically puts the puzzle together. And
Sure.
essentially, the story is basically the Book of Laxia that I wrote is basically mythology reimagined. So I took Greek, Egyptian, Norse, Christianity, all of these different mythologies, putting them together to basically all of them living together in the same realm. And the story is really about the 2 brothers as they're trying to basically figure out who started this war between the families and how to end it. But in the heart of it all is this gigantic mystery that I was building towards, and this chapter pretty much opens the floodgates on all of it. So if you want to read the story chronologically, this is the perfect, jumping off point. And if you did read the rest of the 4 books that I put out, this chapter is gonna be like, hey, I get it now. This is why. Let's see how it's gonna end. And the next chapter is gonna be the final one. So I'm gonna do the final piece of this arc.
But tell me I'm wrong, guys, that it's not some of the best art in
Yeah,
comics. I mean,
Aaron,
art is
your
amazing.
book's gorgeous, man. That's incredible. It looks
The
fantastic.
art is
you.
amazing. That logo is gorgeous. I die for that
Yep.
logo though.
If you just noticed, it went up from 94 to 95. That was me.
oh, damn. All
Love
right.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, it's
good art.
been, this has been like a dream project of mine. I've always wanted to do this. I grew up on mythology, coming from Croatia, and Greek, Roman, all of that stuff. I just kind of grew up on it, and I wanted to do something that mixes everything together, but I wanted to have it like a familiar. It has to have some connecting points, and the family is one of them. And that's why I basically put them in. Each pantheon is a different family, so you basically get that connection with each one, and as well as you basically go into this mystery and figure out what's going on. No, it's been like, it's definitely been a journey. I wrote a mythology story as well for an anthology, since we were speaking about that, called Modern Mythology, which was basically super hard for me because I was just coming back from the first issue of this, and he was like, do a 6-page story. Now, anybody that knows me way before I did comics, I wrote prose. So me writing 6 pages is like, what? What do you mean 6 pages?
Right.
What am I gonna tell in 6 pages? So it took me a while to first gain a concept of it, what it's supposed to be, plus, having that constraint on me to tell the complete story in so little pages, because it's not as easy as you think it is. I know you guys know it's not, having 6 pages, 2 pages, or 1 page like you guys were talking about is definitely challenging.
I practice comics to write shorter stories because Neil Gaiman said that's what I should do. And whatever Neil Gaiman tells me I should do is what I do. But Neil Gaiman's like, if you could tell a story in shorter pages, always do it. It'll make a better story every time. He really believes in that. And he says, if anybody could tell you a good story in 8 pages, they can tell you a good story in 500 pages. It's the same concept. So it's trying to figure that out and get that. And I'm in modern mythologies too. So,
Yes.
with our powers combined, Aaron, we've got the whole thing.
There you go. Captain Planet is coming to save us all. No.
But yeah, Aaron's a good guy. What's that?
The whole thing takes me back to my childhood because I was probably 4 or 5 when that was in syndication in the 90s.
Right. There wasn't. I'm looking for the anthology that I was invited to because I was going to show you, because I think this is a good one for you, Johnny. I think there's going to be a lot of high net profile people, and it's a good concept. Hold on, shit. I'll bring it up to the screen. I'm not sure if it's open invite. I think it is. Did I send it? Oh, hold on. Let me show you. And if this isn't in your group, Philip, make sure we add it. Let me share my screen. By the way, I'm going to be signing off semi soon. I just wanted to kind of hang out for a little bit. I missed my show earlier tonight, so I wanted to promote the Kickstarter a little bit. But I also love my wife, and so I may not, So I don't know. I'll try it out, see if I like it.
Yeah, since you cracked the seal, Travis, I got a moment.
Like a 24-hour stream on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, did you guys see this one, Concrete Archaeum?
No, look right now.
I will send you guys a message in the back room, but it's a good thing. So basically, the basic concept is the veil has been lifted, and like creatures from fantasy in an urban setting kind of invade the real world. And what does that look like, and how does it be involved? It's a good book. I'm super excited. I submitted to it, and I don't submit to anthologies very often, but if you get the right concept, I will. I'll do it. So it's pretty good. I'll
look into it.
Payment's good. And they're looking for final pages by July, so he's trying to produce it. And this guy, I don't know if you know Arkham, he does some great stuff. He's got a book. He's got a Kickstarter out right now of a sketchbook. What is his book called? See, now I'm all over the place now. Hold on. Let me find it. Here we go. Here, let me bring up his Kickstarter. So this guy is the dude producing it. If you look at his stuff, he's got tons of Kickstarters. He's at not. This is a short one. but his normal Kickstarters are. Let me show you. Impure Blood, Volume 1 through 4. See, 234 backers. $12,000. I mean, the guy knows how to make a book. And I mean, look at his art styles and what he does. He does some really cool stuff. You actually could probably learn a thing or two from him, Tim, if you don't know him. Impure Blood. He does a lot.
Wait, hold on a second.
Style from you, Nathan.
Are you talking about Nathan?
Yeah.
I do know him a little bit. Go ahead, finish your thought.
He's got similar, like he does kind of like a steampunkish-ish book and stuff like that. I think there could be some good tie-ins. Like he did a cool watch thing for the first several backers. I thought that was really cool.
I saw that. Yeah, he and I are connected a little bit through the other book, the Cthulhu book. He has the story that is Tolkien and Lovecraft meeting.
Oh, right.
Kind of looking forward to that.
I think it's open. When I'm done the stream the next 15 minutes, let's private chat. We'll figure it out if it is, and we'll get it on the anthologies thing if it is. Because I love competition. Because then if I'm in, I feel even better because I've beat people, right? That's not the way to look at it, right? That's not right. That's all right.
Well, by the way, we're live on the Comic Book Anthology creators are streaming us over there. So
well, we're talking about anthologies, so why not?
Nice.
We should get a shout out. So we're over there now. So definitely good to have us in there.
Well, Phil and I partner well. I just gave him we just did a contest, finished up a contest for Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, and we got people included from that. So it's good. I love anthologies. I think they're great. I think they're a good thing. But why don't you guys say your goodbyes, and I'll do a final Granite State Punk pitch. You guys don't have to sit around for it. You know it, except for Tim hasn't backed me yet, and I will call him out.
I'm coming.
I'll call you out like publicly. I will.
You can count on me. You can count on me, man.
Whatever number I have, I'll be like 375 backers, but no Timothy Flynn. But only you. Everybody else, whatever, if they don't back, but only you.
Cool, man.
I want to produce so much that you're going to be like, look, I can't afford it, dude. Like, I can't. Like, you're doing. I love your faces. Stoney, I love your face.
Stoney.
So we're going to see Stoney so much because right after this, we're doing Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. He is the best promoter. Though Enriquez, the way he talks, maybe he's better. He's calling people like a marathon. Maybe I'm.
Travis, you know what we should do? We need to go and see Enrique and Dan because I need to go to New York because New York, that's the place of inspiration.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
honestly, I need to. When my birthday comes around in June, we're going to New York. I don't care. Like I'm literally heading over to Brooklyn. I don't care.
All right. Well, Dan will hold us in. He's got hospitality is a thing for Jewish people, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, because I need to see. I just need to get out of Chicago. Chicago has nothing for me. I need to go to New York. I want to see what's going on, what's good. But also, I want to start a bit of a pizza war, low key. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
I do.
so
I really want to start that pizza war. So
private chat me all those links that you guys are sharing. Tim, do you have any link for like a launch page or anything?
Not yet. I'll have it probably in the next 10 days. So you'll see me. I'll start hawking it pretty soon. I got
quick thing. You sent out your digitals, right?
Yes.
Once you send out your digitals, Kickstarter tends to be cool with you making those pre-launch pages, just so you know.
Oh.
Yeah, they tend to be cool with it. Not always. It's not 100% rule, but most of the time they're just like
that's a good question. I didn't know that one. When you're getting your pre-launch page ready from Kickstarter, how far along do you have to be in your you got to have all your images?
They say you need to be fulfilled, but they've been laxed on it because of the paper shortage. So use that for an advantage because I believe that's a marketing tool. I actually think this whole thing's stupid. Like if I should be able to launch a pre-launch page, maybe you have to approve my launch. That's fine, but let me do a pre-launch page. I would love to put all of my books that I have coming out for the year pre-launch, with dates.
Wow, that would be cool.
But yeah, but I would start putting it together. You could probably get a pre-launch page probably approved by Monday or Tuesday.
I'll be ready the next couple of days. I'll tell you, I just talked to I have Dave Lentz designing it this time. Some of you guys know Dave. So we're looking forward to working together on that.
How long would you say to put the pre-launch page on a Kickstarter? Like how long before you actually launch the page?
I recommend about a week and a half because you don't want it too long. 2 weeks of stuff, even a month is too long. The problem is you're pitching this sign up to this thing, and yeah, you may get signups, but people want to buy, right? People are ready to buy. So the sooner you can get them to the buy mark, you get a better result. I've seen people who have them out like 6 months in advance, and they don't see a big response when they launch that they were expecting. It's because they waited too long.
That's why I'm only doing like 6 weeks, but I think next time I'm going to do a much shorter.
Yeah, I think
I just want to get it out of the way.
You're excited. Yeah. And in your case, if you have no reason why not to, everything's fulfilled and stuff, why?
Yeah. I mean, everything on AD was fulfilled, both campaigns, because of the whole whatever was going
Switch,
on.
right? Sure.
Yeah, I had to do some last
I'm
minute
still
stuff.
trying to figure out how to do 2 campaigns at once. I mean, doing one campaign is like full-time job for me. So trying to do one is crazy.
Yeah. Well, my next one launches like next week. So
Oh, wow.
This one's finishing, launching Tales of the Collective for the collective. But
wow.
Hustle every day. All right.
Gonna be busy. Gonna be busy.
Tell us what's up. What do we need to do? How do we know what's coming?
My thing is, you're going to see me coming out of the gate here in about the next 10 days, promoting hard for Water Wars 2288. That'll be volume 3. And I'm also sharing some process work from number 4 this week. The best way to follow me, I'm getting the best engagement right now out of Facebook. I'm Timothy Fling, or you can follow Earth Dog Studios. I have YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and all the other stuff, but I do tend to be the most active on Facebook. And lately, maybe I got Travis to thank for this, but it seems like I'm on a lot of podcasts anymore. So you'll see me turning up, talking about making comics, man. So that's what we do.
All right.
Thanks for having me on the show. I super appreciate it.
You're always welcome on anything I do.
Yeah, thanks,
except
man.
for when you're not. But most of the time you are.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Enrique. And you can leave, Tim. You don't have to stick around.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Good night.
Good time.
Good night.
Giving gang signs. Damn it. All right, Enrique.
Nothing, like I said, my convention tour this year is much more limited. You'll be finding me probably in Washington, D.C. for Awesome Con. I'm a guest over in Heroes Con this year. I'll be in New Jersey for the Garden State Comic Fest in the summer. I'll be in Ohio for Gem City and Akron. And hopefully I'll be in Chicago for C2E2 and New York for New York Comic Con again.
All right.
So, you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook. I got an art page and a regular page on Facebook. Like I said, every 2 weeks I have a show on my Facebook page and Instagram, Inky with Kike. This week on Wednesday, I'm going to have Ian Miller. He is the creator of Codename Hunter. Issue number 3 is being printed. I did the cover with him, and he's got a nice announcement. He's going to bring it up. I'm going to do it at the show. And if anybody, like I've just posted my links, you can look for me on the link tree. And if anybody needs a writer or an artist or an inker, just let me know. And don't feel free to hit me up if you say, look, I got anthologies are coming out, or you need some help or something. Just let me know. I'm always here to help. I'm late to the party, like they say. I started doing this only a few years ago, and though I started in the 80s, I really didn't start doing it until like I was in the 50s. So I may be late, but I'm doing as much as I can.
Nothing wrong with that.
So keep the faith, people. Thanks for coming out tonight. And Travis, I'm still waiting on you on some other stuff. So hopefully
I don't have any of that. Okay. Enrique,
What?
I got to tell you something. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I know a lot. It looks like I do, but I don't. I just spin plates, and then eventually my wife is like, "Hey, you got to put a plate down." I was like, "Okay, we're gonna put this one down," and then all that stuff gets handled at that time. That's the way my world works. I have ADD. Yeah, we'll figure it out. The thing is a different thing.
But I'm also going to be involved in the other anthology you're doing.
I'll get you involved in something at some point.
I know that. All right, guys. Daniel, anybody else? Johnny, keep it up, man. Hit me up or something. I'll let you know, man.
Most definitely. I definitely will hit you up. I need to stay in contact, man. We gotta chop it up.
Find me on Instagram. My links are right there on the link tree. Hit me up. I'll follow you, and that way I can watch what you're doing. And Aaron, I love what you just did that for the Hades. It looks great, man.
Thank you.
Keep it going, man.
Yeah.
and keep in touch. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Have a great night.
See ya.
Take
See you
care.
later.
All right, Daniel.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook at Daniel Calvin. You can also find me on Facebook at the Atlas Studios Comics Facebook and the American Dreams Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel Calvin. You can find me on Instagram at DCalvin. You can also start backing the Night Wrath Kickstarter, so you can see down below.
Back in that.
Yeah, make sure you go and check that out if you haven't.
We launched March
please.
15th, so we have a little more than a month of prep to do, but I'm just still trying to get as much of the book done too. So we
The
can
page will look like this. This cool looking dude. Go ahead and do that. And we revealed some pages from it last video. If you look at a past video, I don't have time to do that tonight, but we showed the first like 10 pages, right? Or it was like 10 pages. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm super excited about it. He's a great writer. I love American Dream. So you're missing out if you don't support Daniel.
And there is going to be a reward tier to possibly get the first issue of American Dreams along with issue 1. So we have like an issue 1 sampler pack you can get, digital or physical.
All right.
And I also have American Dreams Volume 1 hopefully coming out this summer, this fall. Convention-wise, I'm booked for Terrificon in the summer, Baltimore in late October. I'm hoping to get to New York Comic Con. But I'm still trying to get my toe back into costs. It's so expensive between travel and conventions, and I have to be a little more choosy.
No, I feel you. All right.
I'm also doing this little Cthulhu versus Wonderland thing coming soon.
I am picking a release date next week, so you will have a release date next week. I'm just so scared of the paper shortage. I've built such a reputation of getting shit out so fast. I'm scared to ruin that reputation.
Oh, I'm terrified too. That's why I was originally playing like 3 or 4 Kickstarters this year, and now I'm like, let's stick with the 2.
Yeah, it's scary. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Voodoo Nations is done. Like I could launch Voodoo Nations, but you guys have your stuff. I actually just paid some people to do some promo work, so we got some cool stuff coming.
I can't wait to tell people which character I did, but I have to keep for now.
No, you can tell people. Go nuts. Have fun.
I'm doing the dodo.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Hey.
It's could be the dodo like you've never seen him before.
All right, Johnny. Where can people find you?
Primarily right now just on Twitter. You can see my username on GetKillGod. Instagram is the same way. However, I will get back on Instagram come next month. Because of work right now, I'm not on Instagram as much, and it's a bit of a distraction. Twitter, I can easily handle. So you can just find me right here. I'm on GetKillGod. I actually just got like 2 follows from the chat today, so that's awesome. And you can also, if you need commissions or anything inked, penciled, email is mangakillgod@gmail.com as you see it.
Nice. Johnny's a great creator, follows me on a lot of stuff, and always tuning into the stream, and I appreciate that. So glad to have you on tonight, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. And Aaron, we're gonna bring your bad boy back up, huh? I've talked about Aaron twice as much as I've talked about my own book, but that's fine, Aaron. Well, it's all about you. That's fine.
It's all about me. I mean, I come here late, and I told you I'm going to take over the show. Well, I told you that's going to happen.
I mean, you're 100%.
Take over the show.
You want more money. You're already 150% funded. What more do you want?
Even more money. What's better than 150%? 175%. But no, thank you again, everybody that's back the book. I really do appreciate it. It's been awesome. It's been a great journey. You'll be able to see me if you're here in Florida. I'm gonna be in a Clearwater Comic-Con, like a small library show in Clearwater, Florida. I'm gonna do a Bradenton show in April. I think it's April 25th and 26th. Don't quote me on the dates. I'll be at MegaCon. I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. That's it for right now. I'm still trying to put some more things together. I originally wanted 2020 to be my, jumping off year with this book, because I had maybe 2 issues out in 2019, and I really wanted, 2020 to be my jumping off point for like shows. and then something happened. I forgot what it was, but something did happen, and nobody had shows for a while, so it was, a thing. But now we're coming back, and we can do shows again, so it's fun. As for where you can find me, you can definitely find me on Facebook mostly. That's where I kind of live. Instagram, it's my name, Aaron Pohara, for both of those. And then Twitter is for Book of Laxia. That's my handle name. So if you want to, follow me in either one of those three, absolutely feel free. Hit me up, if you just want to chat, if you want to ask about the book, if I'm available, I love to chat. As you can see, I love to talk, even when people don't want me to. So,
and Aaron, question for you: on the second site side, how many issues have come out? I know that there was a print delay and a mess.
So second site has 3 issues out right now.
Okay.
Issue 4 has been delayed because of things. I mean, the book itself is out, as you saw it, but there was delays on there. So they have 4, and then of course Hades, and then when I do the last book, which is gonna essentially be books 5 and 6 put together, because I'm insane, and I'm gonna do like a 96-page book for it. Don't ask me why. Again, I'm insane. That's going to be kind of the end of this arc. And then after that, I kind of had ideas to bring other mythologies, Japanese, Hindu, and, African American, Indian, Native American, had all of those different mythologies. It just had some crazy ideas in my head. But after I'm already done writing the last issue, so I'm right now working on my sci-fi story. I need to take a break from fantasy. I've done like 3 fantasy stories before this, so I don't want to be the mythology guy. I mean, I love mythology, I just don't want to be that. So
yeah.
Great. All right. So back it. You've only got 12 hours left on this bad boy, so make sure that you back it if you have not.
I need to get to 100. That's my goal. I have to get to 100. It's my.
What's your top backer list? What's the top you've ever got?
Top backer? I think it was 325. Somebody backed the.
No, not money. Like backer people.
Oh, this is the most I ever had. I think
95.
Yeah, this is definitely the most I ever had. So 100 is kind of my sweet spot. I just want to see that triple digits thing go off.
Sure.
It's just gonna be a moral victory for me.
Yeah, well, you got 12 hours to go. You'll get it. Just keep promoting it. All right, cool. All right, well, I'm going to talk about my stuff. You guys can stick around if you want, but I'm going to talk about Granite State Punk because we have not talked about it really at all this show. So it's time to do it. That's why I did this. So Granite State Punk. Let's show this bad boy up. I am at my highest single issue. This is not my highest back, but we're at 315. Hoping to get to 350. Would love to get to 10 grand. We got 4 more days to do it. Granite State Punk is the story of Zeke. This is Zeke right here. Zeke has a drinking problem, as you can see with the beer. He is staying at this house. This house is his parents' house. He's staying there because he's on house arrest. His parents have passed away. And as he's sitting there, meeting with a girl named Ember, she is starting to remind him of his past and where he came from. And he starts realizing that maybe there's a reason why he's been drinking away all his past memories. It's a one shot. That's the beginning, middle, and end. It's about punk rock. It's about witches. It's got a skull golem. It's got some cool stuff. We've got some of the best covers I've ever had. Live Free or Die, Mother Effer. We got skull golems. If you like skull golems, we've got punk rock virgin stuff. We've got the stuff Stefano cover. Shocked that you don't have a Stefano cover, Aaron. You love Stefano. I mean, Second Sight does, anyways.
No, I know they do some Stefano stuff. I'm pretty sure they do. I think Jonathan.
Yeah. Almost all of his books has a Stefano cover now, like this latest wave. Yeah. This is our metal cover. We're almost sold out. How many we got to sell left? We have 2 left. So if we sell out of those, we're going to release another metal, which is pretty cool. We get the punkified version. Basically, you can get this black and white version, or I will punkify it for you and sign it. So I'll be drawing all sorts of remarks and cool stuff. Have a preview here. I highly recommend reading this preview of like 5 or 6 pages. It's dope as hell. It'll kind of show you what the vibe of the book is, and if you can get behind it, it's pretty cool. We've got all sorts of different puzzles. Digital's $3, deluxe is $6. You've got if you haven't tried out my stuff, $10. You can try out everything. $35. You got a full digital collection of all the Orange Cone stuff. This is everything you can get for $35. That is a deal. That is 2 trade paperbacks. Buy it. $12 for the standard. That comes with the standard and the digital. 2 copies for $24. 3 copies for $40 because we got some cool covers. $50, you can get all 4 covers. And then we got the collector's kit, which comes with the punkified cover and all sorts of cool stuff. This one comes with punkified and the metal. Whew. If you want to get everything physical, we have a $100 tier. Actually, you know what? Let's take $1 off that. It's $99. 10 single issues, 2 graphic novels. You can get everything I make. I make a lot of books. A lot of people like them. And then we have our add-ons if you want to just try something out. If you haven't tried Broke Down, if you haven't tried Voodoo Nations or Cthulhu, that is the place to do it. And then for the first time ever, I have a cool, dope-ass shirt, Yankee Swappers. So this is a cool shirt for the fictional band Yankee Swappers that is in the comic book. If you want to get the band shirt to join the party, you're more than welcome to.
I want that shirt.
Showing that I actually did the work. I actually made the comic. Look, those are all the pages. So that's it, man. This is all the books that I've fully funded and delivered since I've started Kickstarter. So I think I've done pretty good.
All right now.
So that's it. That's where we're at. So help me get there. Help me back. I'd love to get some more backers, try to get to where we need to go. But thank you guys, each and every one of you guys, for coming out. I appreciate you guys. It's been a good time, but we're going to sign off. So good night, everybody.
At all.
I'm going to play my cool video again. If you haven't got a chance to see it, watch my video.